Hi, I'm Bill Rice, and I help founders and startups build go-to-market strategies so that they can focus on building exceptional products and services. And today, I want to talk to you about how to create a content marketing machine. So often we kind of get stuck in some sense of writer's block or maybe some feeling that we have to have a certain production quality. So I want to show you how to create a machine, a flywheel of content, and not get stuck at any phase in that production. So first and foremost, I like to constrain, I talk about a constrained content framework. I want to niche down into something very specific. In my particular case, I help with go-to-market strategies for founders and early stage startups, right? That's the only thing I'm going to talk about is sales and marketing, go-to-marketing strategies and plans. So whatever your product or service is, figure out kind of the smallest portion of that you can continue to message around. Now, you might think that that's too small, but there are many different ways, perspectives and types of content and ways to reinforce that message. But the tighter that message is and the more times people hear it, the stronger your credibility as the expert or the product or service that is the default solution in that space will become. So first and foremost, create a constrained content framework, maybe just a couple of different topics that you do over and over again. And this is particularly important as you start. It will help with ideation. It will help with sort of getting it out there and not getting hung up on trying to do too many things or thinking you need to prepare too much. Get it really tight, something that you know like the back of your hand and you could speak off the cuff for 30 minutes, no problem. That should become, again, your constrained content framework. Limited topics, we want to create the density, the expertise, and the memorability around that concept and attach it to your brand, to your startup. Number two, I'm a big proponent of creating a Sparkfile. What is a Sparkfile? It's essentially just a assembly of notes and ideas that you have. You probably, as a founder, most of us entrepreneurs are just full of ideas. They're just constantly streaming or tied up and tangled in our mind. There's two benefits to this. One, when you dump it out, to kind of declutter the mind. The other thing is, of course, you will also have this running file that will prevent future writer's block and give you lots of opportunities to figure out how to do it. Also let you look at that and organize it in such a way that, again, you're not getting too broad such that your message begins to get diluted and people aren't really sure what your expertise is or what the product and service is that you actually offer. So that Sparkfile, again, just reiterating kind of the core important pieces of why you should have a Sparkfile. One, kills writer's block forever. It helps you to organize and categorize whatever that constrained content framework is so that it makes sense and it's logical and people can find the other bits and pieces and kind of go down that rabbit hole with you because you have, again, a logical organization to everything that you produce. It also helps you to make that first outline and draft, even if it's with AI. I encourage that. I'm doing that more and more myself, is, again, create that Sparkfile, drop that spark or that idea in there, give it a little bit of a seed so that when you come back to it and you're going to put some time and effort into it, you'll kind of know where you were going with that thought. Okay, the third part of creating this content machine, the marketing machine, is have a workflow that creates the same type of content format-wise over and over again. So what do I mean here? There are kind of two ways that people tend to feel most comfortable doing content and workflowing it, right? Some like to start small and with that seed, and they want to publish that first. So they're going to start with a very short form piece that could be on X or Twitter or LinkedIn, where you just have the idea and you pump out a very quick maybe bulleted or very brief, sort of flushing out of that idea in a very short form. Or you could start with the long form. This is actually what I do. Usually I put a seed, I'll write a blog post, and then from the blog post, I'll start to kind of shrink that down into a shorter piece. So whatever that is, make that consistent. So blog post or tweet, then I'm going to workflow it into a video, and then ultimately finish with a long or short form post. But of course, that's always going to be my consistent format and workflow as I'm creating content. So there's no question in my mind when I hit that Sparkfile or when I sit down for my content creating session, I know exactly what I'm going to create, and I'm going to know the different steps to getting that out into the marketplace. And then last, and this goes to the point of getting it out into the marketplace, don't forget about distribution. I can't tell you the number of founders that I've worked with that are just content machines. They're always writing stuff. They have ideas. They have a Sparkfile. They're creating videos or whatever. And it's all sitting in a Google Drive. It's never been distributed. It hasn't been put on a platform because they're like, oh, well, I need to do some production before I get it to YouTube, or like I need to do some extra formatting and editing before I publish it on Medium, or I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on Medium, or I want to put it on my website, which I haven't quite finished yet. The point here is know your forms of distribution and don't overthink them. If you're doing video, plop it down in short form on LinkedIn, in longer form and or short form, put it on YouTube. Don't think about it. Video, get it out. Put even your draft version out just to get it out into the world and starting to give you feedback. If you're writing, I suggest you start with Substack. You start to promote that as an email list builder. Medium is a great platform to, again, using platforms first before you worry about your website. That's a place where there's already audience, and there's probably some of your ICP out there. Of course, LinkedIn, both post videos and newsletters or longer form, is a great platform. So think about distribution. Where are you going to put this content? Limit it, right? Just like you're limiting your content topics, I suggest that you also limit your distribution platforms, but think about what they are. So maybe there's 2 or 3 of those. Always start with platforms first. They have audiences built in, and so they're ready to go. All you're doing is writing stuff that will resonate with the ICP, and that audience will start to follow you and grow around you. And then once you kind of have that audience and that followership around you, then you can start to think about your own hubs, right? Your website and your email list. Those are 2 things that you can own and that you can start relatively easy, but there is some resources involved in getting that website up and making it look professional, and maybe getting that email list in a place where it's going to sort of grow on its own. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you want more lead generation tactics from me, I encourage you to like and subscribe. And if you want me to help do this for you, we're always focused on creating demand generation and lead generation programs for founders and startup folks like yourself, so that you can focus on building your products and services. Again, you can check us out at billricestrategy.com, and look forward to seeing you on the next video.